going on, guys? Let's take a look at the markets right now. It is 9 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, so we're getting into that lunch hour. Plenty of time for myself to go ahead and do a little recap and kind of see exactly what the market's been doing. So it's been quite a long time since the Nasdaq 100 has been down, 2%, right? Very, very big day considering the massive bull run that we have been on. So today's price action, we're going to start off looking at the daily time frame. You can see that we quickly swept and put in new highs today early, $20,983 in 83.75, and we are currently trading at 20,486. So quite the reversal here on the Nasdaq. Now, one thing that I do want everyone to kind of keep in mind is if we're looking at the bigger, top-down analysis, looking at this daily chart, we have pulled back into the top linear regression channel. If we go back in time, okay, if we go back in time, the last time we broke that linear regression, it was 1, 2, 3 days before getting rejected, followed by a 4 or 5 day period of distribution. And then once we confirmed those prior highs over this channel was when we got that 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can call today a 5-day run up as we quickly swept that. Now, this morning we had CPI numbers that came out, and then after shortly the market opened, we had a big reversal, like a very big reversal. I know that there's a lot of people who blew up accounts today. There's a lot of people who really went down bad today, looking for that bounce. Why? Because the market generally, they get you used to the same routine and the same pattern, right? Essentially for the past few weeks, you could have essentially just looked for those bigger dips into rising demand, buy, and then, eventually that position would go green, and or you could find those opportunities to scalp. Today wasn't a situation where you couldn't really do that because the market just kept flushing. Now, if we look at the 5-minute time frame, we kind of see what the price action was doing off the open. Notice here in the pre-market, we got those numbers, we got that big spike, and we never really were able to kind of get back over that 209.83 level. We kind of trickled around sideways, came right back down to where we were trading at in the overnight session. And then as the market started to open, we flirted once more in the pre-market, trying to push back higher before eventually just falling. Now, again, here's a 20 SMA play to the downside. Literally that happened and started 5 minutes before the market opened. Once it got confirmed, it literally just never looked back. But again, that's neither here nor there. With that being said, once we did start to break down, okay, I want you guys to notice something here. Once we broke down and we got that first 30 minutes out of the way. So for those of you guys who have been following me, or maybe some of you guys who are in evolution traders, you guys know that I'm not looking to take any trades within the first 30 minutes. On my most recent PA account with Apex, I deep dove into a lot of the numbers, and a lot of these numbers were showing me that I was making money, good money in the first 30 minutes of the market, but I was also losing a lot of money in the first 30 minutes of the market, essentially bringing $3,000 profit to like a $2,800 loss. So essentially for over 3 weeks, within that first 30-minute time window, I'm essentially a scratch trader. So some of my biggest trades have come off the open, but also some of my biggest losers. So what I've been doing, especially this week since Monday, is not trading the first 30 minutes of the market, allowing the market to open and digest whatever news and stuff happened in pre-market, and then trying to see if I can pick my spot. So if you notice, once we took out the first 30 minutes of trade range to the downside, if you look at from 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 7 a.m., that 1 hour candle, once we confirmed that at the top of the hour, the market just really started to sink. And if you were looking for that type of opportunity, then if you guys have Thinkorswim, even if you're not trading with Thinkorswim on stocks and options side, or definitely don't trade futures on with Charles Schwab, but I use it as a charting platform because I trade stocks and options on Thinkorswim. Now, because I've been charting with Thinkorswim for many years, my charts are always going to look the same, and I'm just very comfortable with charting on here. And then when I trade with Apex and Top Step, I can just execute on another monitor. But if you have Thinkorswim, do me a favor and add this linear regression channel 50. Okay, it's a study, so you would go to studies, go to add study and then go to all studies and then go down to, I think it's I-L or is it H-L? Nope, no, none of those. It's L-M. So go to L-M, scroll down here, linear regression channel 50, plop that on your chart. That's going to be these blue lines. So it's just going to give you some channel lines here. But the point I want to make with that is you can see once we took out that initial, 30-minute range to the downside, we really started to push down into this demand zone of this linear regression channel 50. This was a great spot to, get into a trade and take profits into that zone. Once we came into this zone, into this channel 50 linear regression down here, kind of clean up that position, see if there's going to be a potential bounce. Now, this is where a lot of traders were getting trapped because you come into a level of support, you try to go for that bounce, and the market just keeps going down. You consolidate, start pushing back up towards the linear regression. Maybe you try to go long, and the market makes a new low. You put in this little bit of a reversal candlestick here, a little bit of an indecision candlestick here. You get a nice green pop. This is the bottom. And then it puts in a new low. So again, if you weren't very, very quick taking those profits to the upside on these little mini scalps that we had, these very, very mini scalps here, more than likely you probably chopped yourself up. Now, myself, I was able to bring home, some decent gains. In the Apex PA account that I activated yesterday. That account's up around $800 in 2 days. I think we took home $589. And let me just kind of see here where that account's at. If I just kind of go to, give me a second here, guys. I just want to go to it. That way I'm not talking out of my rear. Okay, here, I think you guys should be able to see this. No, you can't. So give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. Come on. There it is. So this is the account that we activated yesterday. This account here is up $589.50. The total balance is $50,812. Again, took 5 trades today. All of those trades were winning trades, and realistically, I made most of my money to the long side. Go figure, right? So again, the brain is still, thinking buy the dip, but again, with my smaller take profits, price targets, I'm just looking for a few points here. I'm just looking to find that opportunity, find that setup where the market is potentially trying to bounce, get in on that confirmation, and just take, some small gains. Now, the last trade that I was in was a long position. I started to buy this most recent bottom here closer to around 9 a.m. That trade time was 19 minutes. Okay, so this is the longest I've been in a trade in a very, very long time. But again, in a market like this that's continuing to go down, I needed to give it some wiggle room. And in fact, this trade that I was in was down on one mini contract around $500 at one point in time, but it was building a floor, and it really wasn't like screaming to the downside. So I did have some confidence and some support on the 1 hour time frame to kind of sit there and hold that position. And fortunately, it was able to come back, go into the green, and it went up around $250. Again, if you guys understand the way that I'm trading as of late, I'm generally giving myself around a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So I'm risking 2 to make 1, but we're looking for those higher win rate percentages. So if I was to go to, the other PA account that is just waiting for a payout here on the next pay cycle, and I kind of go to, I'll show it to you guys right now. Just give me a second. Give me a second here, guys. So if I just go to, what's the date? We started this account the last weekend of June, and then we'll go to today's date. Okay, so we'll kind of pull up these numbers here very, very quickly. This account here is ready for a payout. Today, we only took $88 on it, a couple of small scalp trades there, but the gross P&L is $3,700. So total balance, $53,493. We're definitely over that threshold. This is going 3.5 weeks worth of trading, 73 trades, and 62 of those trades were winners. We only took 11 losses. Now for 3.5 weeks, look at the date range here, guys. I just want you to focus on this. From June 24th until July 11th, we're hitting at an 84% win rate. Now, one thing that I want you guys to kind of keep in mind is, yes, the strategy is hitting and I'm being able to trade at 84%, but there's been a lot of adjustments that needed to be made. One of those adjustments was not trading the first 30 minutes of the market open. Another one of those adjustments is, you know, if I go down early, especially because we never know if any of our trades are going to win right off the bell. But if I take one or two losers and that third trade that I take is also a loser, I have to stop trading. Okay. So I'm only allowing myself 3 losses on the day, period. And I'm giving myself around a $200 to $250 stop loss on this particular account because it was already in the positive. Now, the account that I traded today, we were in drawdown almost $500, but it's a fresher account. So again, we're trying to really build that buffer early. That way we can get down to kind of scaling down our risk a little bit later, right? It's all about risk and reward and how you manage it. And it's just the way that how I manage my accounts here. You can manage your accounts however you would like to, but it just kind of give you guys that clear context. So with that being said, you know, once your strategy has been back tested and once you start forward testing it and you see that you do have a little bit of an edge, and you're able to kind of produce some profits there, you know, sometimes you might go on a consecutive win streak where you win 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades in a row, and then you might take those 3 losses in a row. So you're going to have to bite down on the bullet and just kind of be patient and just keep taking those setups, because you have to understand that when you're trading a system and you're trading a strategy and you run those numbers at scale, those losses are going to happen. Those red days are going to happen. Now, again, fortunately, that account is, you know, I think it's 12 days now in the green, but you know, there's very well times where I was starting off the day red, right? But stick to my guns, keep that daily personal max loss number intact. And if I'm able to trade my way back and go back to scratch or a little bit break even, you need to do that. So on a day like today, or maybe you found it a little bit more difficult to find those setups because realistically, we didn't get a whole lot of setups, even on my strategy, right? So, you know, even if we were looking at that 2-minute time frame, we didn't get a whole lot of setups, right? Essentially, we got one setup in pre-market, and then there's been nothing, right? Like, I mean, absolutely nothing. Like, if you didn't take that short position, you couldn't find any new plays off that 20 SMA. So you had to be a little bit more, you know, creative as a trader. Now, as of late, within the last, you know, 30 minutes here, we've gotten 2 setups. One of them, I don't even know if this one paid, high price 205.16 into 205.29. Yeah, so this one would have gave you 5 points here. This one would have gave you 5 points there. And now we're in another active setup here. So again, now we're starting to get those setups as we're into lunchtime. But again, you know, I need you guys to go through your data. So my data is telling me the first 30 minutes of the market, hey, you can make money there, but you also lose just as much. So stay out of the first 30 minutes. Okay, check mark, done. Also, I haven't made any money because I'm not really looking for trades, but I haven't made any money after 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Great. So we're going to continue to, you know, not trade after 11 a.m. The majority of my winning trades have come between 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to really focus on that hour, and I'm going to really focus on setups, because during that time, at least for the past 3.5, 4 weeks, I'm able to see the market very, very clearly. Now, is that because the market's starting to slow down? Is that because we've got some price action printed and some structure on the charts, and I'm able to now find some levels intraday? Possibly, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to what's working. And as a trader, you need to stick to what's working. You can't just come in every single day and expect that it's going to be just like yesterday, right? You can't just come in every day and just keep knocking your head on the door and expect it to open, you know, without you know, fiddling with the handle. So again, you know, when it comes down to your trading, really make sure that you're back testing, really make sure that you're going through your data, and really make sure that you're looking for areas of opportunity to improve and manually intervene into your system and your strategy, right? Because a strategy is just a strategy. It's going to trigger, but is there more, maybe a better time that you could implement that strategy? Is there something that you can adjust with the take profit and or stop loss depending on what you're seeing in the markets? Is there something where maybe you don't take trades, right? Maybe we stay with the hourly time frame. So for example, if we were looking at the hourly time frame today, and I'm going to make some more videos on this kind of stuff, but if we're looking at the hourly time frame today, as soon as we lost that first hour's lows, it was just essentially straight down. So why would you be looking for longs when the market is pushing down, right? You're not looking for those longs here, right? Same thing with this last hour candle, 8 a.m. We're confirming a previous hour low, and we're losing a demand zone of 150 simple moving average. So I don't really want to be looking for longs. But when you notice, we come into a macro level of demand, linear regression, and 200, and we start to hold and now reclaim and bounce off these levels, maybe now we can start looking for those long positions, at least for a small bounce. I'm not saying to have some sort of V-shaped recovery to back to the top side, although that can happen. I've seen crazy things in the market happen before, but maybe we can just look for those small pockets and those small windows where now maybe we can start looking for a long position, versus these last 2 hours was just mainly just, you know, kind of sitting and waiting for the bounce, the small bounces, and then start looking to short again, right? So use the 1 hour time frame as confluence with your setup. I use it a lot, right? If we've lost a lot of levels of demand, I'm not looking to go long. Okay, when we come into a significant level of demand or supply, depending on if the market's going long or short, which for me is going to be a linear regression or a 200, then I might look for those areas of opportunity for the market to hold, and then I might look for that reversal, or I might look for the, you know, the going against the trend, right? They say don't go against the trend. I 1000% believe that until we get into some macro level of supply or demand. I hope this video helped you guys. I'll see all of you guys on the inside. If you guys do decide to join Evolution Traders, that link is down in the description box below. If you guys blew up some accounts today and you lost some accounts, it's okay. You know, that's what it's all about. These accounts are so cheap with these prop firms. We're able to just roll back into them. You know, I've got links for Top Step as well as Apex. Those are down in the description box below if you guys lost some accounts and need to get some new ones. But I'll see all of you guys on the inside.